bad feet are cool. They are. Bad feet are cool. See, look at this right here. Look at that. Now see, that's my right foot there. Look at the condition. Look at the hilarious condition of my right toenail. See that? See that? Now see, that's what it's come down to. That's the current condition of my right toenail, because way back in September I stubbed my toe really bad. I was at Ploptoberfest. I was at Oktoberfest in Cincinnati, and because the city of Cincinnati had a sidewalk closed, I tripped over like a curb on the sidewalk and stubbed my toe real bad. And it was about 40 degrees that day. So look at what it did to my toe, my poor little toe, and it still hasn't healed yet, because that takes a long time for your toe to heal when something like that happens. And then of course there's this bit of uproariousness right here. See, this is right here. That right there, that big, there's this big rough spot right there. Right there, it's on the top of my foot, and that's I call that the Sesame Street sore. That's what that is. That right there is called the Sesame Street sore, because I first noticed it when I was about 4 years old, and I was watching Sesame Street when I first noticed it. So, because that's right, I first noticed it while I was watching Sesame Street once when I was 4 years old, and it was like a callus or a blister or something, and it never went away, and because the problem is, the reason it never went away is because I always had a hard time finding shoes that fit, because I have really wide feet. So year after year, it would just keep blistering up and everything. So, and I remember for years I would get shoes that were supposedly the right size, like when I was growing up, and I kept thinking, and they always felt like they were 3 sizes too small. But really, it was just because I had wide feet. I had a hard time finding shoes that fit. So that blister, that callus on my foot, the Sesame Street sore, as I call it, just kept getting worse. And I remember I was very distressed when I first noticed it, because I was like 4 years old. And you know, when you're 4 years old, you don't understand the science of calluses. So you don't expect to see a callus on your foot when you're 4 years old. But I did, and it never improved. And every once in a while, the Sesame Street sore, it'll blister up again, and then it'll burst, and then the skin around the blister will dry up, and there will be like layers of dead skin, of dried, hardened skin just hanging there, and you can just pull them off, and you could just peel them off with your fingernail. And that's fun to do. That's fun to do when that happens. So that's a story of how I have really bad feet. And my mom thought there was something wrong with me because I watched Sesame Street when I was like 4 or 5. She said there was something really wrong with you. You're not going to be able to get into 1st grade if you still watch Sesame Street. But I was 5. Of course I still watch Sesame Street. And the thing is, I would have stopped watching it by then, except there was one segment that I kept watching Sesame Street when I was too old for it, because I was like 5 or 6, and I remember still watching it, because I wanted to see them rerun the segment that hit Cookie Monster with the train going, through, he got the train through, because I kept watching it because I wanted to see them rerun that segment, because I liked that segment. So, and I was too old for it, but that was the only reason I still watched it, and finally I stopped when I was about 6. When I was about 10, I kept saying, because there's some cartoons that I used to watch when I was about 10 on Channel 19. Channel 19 kept taking them off for specials and stuff. And I got frustrated. I kept saying, well, I'll go back to Sesame Street. My mom said, Tim, you are not going to go back to Sesame Street, Tim. You are too old for it. But that was the whole point. That was why I kept saying that. It was to illustrate how stupid it was that Channel 19 kept taking off cartoons. So that's the story of having bad feet and bad teeth, too. Bad feet and bad teeth are two of my proudest trademarks. But anyway, also, guess what today is? Today is National Bubblegum Day. It is. Today is National Bubblegum Day. And the thing is, it was just after midnight this morning when I thought of it. I mean, I had no idea when National Bubblegum Day was. But just this morning, right after midnight, I went on the internet to look at when it was. And what luck! It was today! I mean, what amazing luck! So Occupy Campbell County. So on Occupy Campbell County's Facebook page, here's what we did to celebrate National Bubblegum Day. We put out this. We made this our profile picture for today on Occupy Campbell County's Facebook page. We changed this to our profile picture just for today, for National Bubblegum Day. It's always the first Friday in every February of every year. And I didn't even know about it till one time. I was like 8 years old and I was listening to the radio. I had no idea there was a National Bubblegum Day. So one day, I was listening to the radio. I was like 8 years old and the DJ mentioned it. So that's how I knew that there was one. That was a long time ago. And he made like bubblegum sound effects when he mentioned it. I think it was on Yes 95 or one of those corny stations. But also since President's Day is coming up, and this is going to be our profile picture for President's Day. See that? That's going to be Occupy Campbell County's profile picture on President's Day. I mean, if I could remember to post that. Isn't that funny? That's gonna be our picture for President's Day. But anyway, bad feet are cool. And Sesame Street sores are cool. I wonder if I'm the only person in the world who has a Sesame Street sore. For 35 years now, I've had a Sesame Street sore. It served me well from when I was 4 years old into adulthood. And the thing is, there's actually one on the other foot too that's not nearly as big. And I don't know why the one on the other foot wouldn't be as big, but it is what it is. I'm not going to try to look a gift horse in the mouth by wishing for a bigger Sesame Street sore, because I'm just thankful for the one I've got. You know, sometimes you have to count your blessings and just be thankful that you even have a Sesame Street sore.